The purpose of this video is to teach you the very basics of the heel-toe technique and how to implement it into some very basic beats so that you can start to use it right away. Okay, to get started with the heel-toe technique, what you can see here is I'm wearing socks instead of going barefoot or wearing shoes. Most of you will probably prefer something different, but seeing as there's 3 options and this is only one. But I'd highly recommend going with either socks or barefoot when learning this technique, and that's because in essence for this technique you're going to be using separate parts of your foot, and it's a lot easier when you have the flexibility of separating the different parts of your foot by bending it or whatnot. But eventually, once you become comfortable with it, I mean, you can perform this with the bulkiest kind of shoes. It's just easier to learn with socks. So the basics of the technique here is playing the heel and then following through with the toe. So your heel's making contact with the board somewhere down here, and then your toe follows through. So first off, maybe get comfortable with using just the heel to make a beat. And actually this is harder to do than actually doing the heel toe. It's just a good way of overemphasizing the heel hit. And once you get comfortable with that, it'll become a lot easier. So you're doing the heel hit, and then you're following through with the toe part of your foot and doing a double. So you can get incredible speed out of this, but it's all still one motion, and that's my favorite part about the heel-toe technique, because in any beats you're playing, you're not switching from a single to a double, you're just switching from a single to a whipping motion that produces a double. So it feels the same for your leg, it's just a switch in how you play the foot. So it's very similar to how you play doubles and singles on the snare. Your arm swings once, but you get a double or a single out of it. So again, with the heel you're getting a kick out of that, and then following through with the toe here. Now for those of you with really big feet, there's a second way of doing this, which is instead of using the heel and toe, you're actually using the pad of your foot here and your actual toes. So that's a little bit harder for me to play just because I haven't practiced it a lot, but I'm sure it'll be just as easy for somebody that actually practices it as much as I've done for heel-toe technique. And in essence, you can play this technique all the way back on your board. See here, I'm trying to go back as far as I can just to overemphasize my point here, but basically no matter how big your foot is, if this portion of your foot right here can rest on the pedal, which should be everybody, you can pull out some doubles. So, and if I practice that as much, it'd probably sound as smooth as my heel-toe, and the acoustics would be just as good. So that's the basics behind using the heel-toe technique, and I want to warn you, it won't come overnight for most people. It took a couple weeks of just playing it every once in a while and getting used to it and trying to implement it into a couple beats, and then it became very comfortable. And like I said, it's exactly like playing a single. You're just following through with a whipping motion and getting a double. So practice that and it should come through for you. For metal drummers, one way to extend the heel-toe technique to do even more is to implement it into both feet. So instead of doing a double like this or like that, you actually do a double with both feet, and then you get quads going in essence. So going back and forth, you can actually get some really fast beats going. So here's a brief example. So as you can see there, I'm using the same exertion as singles, but doubles with both feet, but quads are coming out. So in essence, you're getting a lot faster play for the energy you're using. A simple way you can start using the heel-toe technique is to implement it into a basic punk beat, alternating the kick and the snare while keeping time with the ride, and slowly over time using the double more and more often. This way way you're keeping time, so it's a structured beat, while implementing the heel-toe technique slowly so that you're not overexerting yourself, and you'll get used to it until the point where it just becomes completely automatic to use it over and over again. Another great way to implement the heel-toe technique is just to take any beat you already play and swap out a single for a double at any time, just to make it sound a little bit more complex. So taking a simple beat like this, and applying a double in there. And as you can see, it doesn't take any more exertion on my part, and once you become comfortable with the heel-toe technique, it'll work exactly the same for you. If you want to get extreme speed out of double bass, you can implement the heel-toe technique back and forth with the feet. So doing a double here, and then a double over here, and back and forth really fast, you'll get some really extremely fast double bass beats going like this. That way, conserving a lot of the energy because you're only playing at half speed, but pumping out fours with every switch of the feet, so it actually goes a lot faster than you're playing. Of course, once you become very comfortable with the heel-toe technique, you can just improvise on the go and just add doubles whenever it feels comfortable, like.